Hello, people, and welcome to Worship the Metal podcast, chatting shit about metal. I am Lazarus.
And I am Steve.
And we are here to chat shit to you about metal for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll try and keep it down this time. Yeah, it's absolutely great to be here. We just got a few updates that we're going to be bringing to you now. And plus, the whole point of this is that we do have special release coming out. We've got a new single coming out on Valentine's Day, but we just wanted to we thought we'd record this now, just go for a few updates that we've seen throughout the scene, and just maybe a few cheeky surprises for you all as well.
Cheeky surprises? Oh.
Yeah, we like a bit of cheeky surprise.
It's a family show.
It depends what type of family. I'm sure the Mansons would love it.
Oh man, we got our next single coming out soon. It's been nearly a year since we released anything, and I'm absolutely buzzing for this release, honestly.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Over the last 12 months, we've been pretty much on the road constantly, which we're not complaining about. We've loved it. I think we played about 29 shows last year.
Yeah, it was 29 shows altogether across. It was across 10 months.
Absolutely incredible, and we played so many good venues and with so many good bands as well. But this podcast. Let's do a bit of a throwback first. I think let's preset this because I kind of want to show where we come from to where we are now, and just to get the little nuances and differences for the audience.
Oh, okay, so you want to give them a little contrast on what we're producing today and what we started with all those months ago when we were first forming Worship the Sacrifice. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, but let's spice it up. How about we do something that's not been released before?
Oh, that kind of comparison. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So for those listening, we're trying to be funny about it, but at the end of the day, we're not getting very successful. When we first started, obviously, our first release was Isaac. But we were producing quite a lot of music before we started going out there and doing gigs. And we did record a lot of demos. And this first track that we recorded, I think it's a good throwback to where we started musically. Do you want to do some more introductions? I know the lyrical content's quite interesting on this one as well.
Yeah, I think interesting would be the word, wouldn't it? This song, it's one of the early ones that Steve provided to me. So Steve gave me a scratch track. It had the guitar and the drums on it, and I kind of just listened to it for a little bit. And when I was listening to this music, as I do with all the tracks that Steve sends to me, I envision in my mind what the story that the music is trying to tell to me, and then I translate that into the lyrics and the vocal patterns to try and complement it and form it into a story, because I think that every song is a story. And so this one, I was just I was thinking, all I had in my mind was a hellscape, and I was just thinking about Satan in his prison, in his hell, and with the doom and gloom of the riffs and the kind of slow tempo and everything, it just made me think about Lucifer. And when I think about the Lucifer story, I personally see a lot of hypocrisy in the condemnation of this character, and it's the same character in multiple cultures with different names, and that's why I decided to just call it out and name every name from each culture in the chorus, and just kind of point out that especially in the Lucifer story, all the guy really did was question God's intent and his reason for wanting to be worshipped, and he was just cast down from grace just for questioning his father. So it just made me feel a little bit of empathy for the guy, because I've definitely been in that situation myself. And so yeah, if you pay attention to the lyrics, you'll hear that story. And this song,
that was beautiful.
Lowered.
Burn
I do love that track.
Oh man, I haven't listened to that in a few months. It brings back
About 30 seconds for at least me.
So yeah, as you can hear, it's definitely something I'd say on a different spectrum to what we're doing nowadays.
Oh, definitely. I do feel we do try and keep that melody in there, and a lot of the tonal stuff is like I like to put a little bit of dark and a little bit of the melody in there, because I think it is essential in my writing anyway, how I feel the song should sound, and I do take a lot of influences from the guys, a lot of influences from bands that I grew up with, and I love the whole juxtaposition of dark and light, having the most darkest tones we can mix with the most lightest melodies, which I think is the essential schizophrenic death metal position to be in.
Quintessential Dizzer. But
oh, there we go.
Do you not really get to me about Lowered though? It's that emotionally crafted solo, dude. Like I can feel soul in that. Like that has been crafted by someone's emotion.
It was in a very difficult time. It was written around about the same time as Isaac, which we know is the feedback we've got is that it's a very emotionally driven song. So I enjoyed it. It was, it was a one take, and it was just sort of every time I tried to record something after that one take, it just didn't capture that. I let go emotion, so I just kept it. And as you say, if it works, it works. I love it.
No, it definitely does work. And listening to Lowered and Isaac, and then the other songs in the repertoire, it makes me realize what we're doing with our Schizophrenic brand is, we're using death metal as our base, and we're touching on all the other subgenres and marrying them together and seeing what happens. And someone once explained or described us as, each member of the band is like an individual voice influencing the outcome inside the head of the WTS entity. And I think that is schizophrenic death metal to a T, isn't it?
Oh, I love that description.
So
for those listening, is this is all just an insight of the just in how we view things and how we do our creative process. It's the same with all the other bands out there. And speaking of like all the other bands and obviously creating all those lines, I want to give kudos to you, Lazarus, because I know that you have been heavily involved in the last few months in something called the London Metal Coalition.
Yeah, shout out to the boys.
Yeah. And I know there is an event, and there are some updates for the boys there. So if you wanna take this or take the lead on this, go ahead, my friend.
Oh, the London Metal Coalition! What a beautiful thing that is! I have to say, it all started at the Metal to the Masses, meeting different bands, realizing that all of these really friendly, passionate people under this metal blanket lived in the same city. There wasn't much of a scene at the time, and it was post-COVID. We needed to all band together and really revive London and make it the place for underground metal music. And I think that's what we're really starting to achieve now. We just recruited our 34th band into the coalition.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to them bloody kids, the newest members. And they put up such a lovely post. They were so happy to be a part of this LMC. And it's really nice to see everyone just showing equal amounts of passion towards the initiative, because in the end it's, we're kind of living off the philosophy that a rising tide raises all ships. So that's exactly what the LMC is all about. Building a community, skill sharing, helping each other out, giving each other opportunities, creating friendship, and just creating a beautiful, beautiful scene.
That's absolutely amazing.
So, in culmination of all of what's been happening in the LMC, something called Fallout Fest has manifested itself, and it will be happening on 18th of February, next Saturday, in the Fighting Cocks. And the entire lineup is LMC bands. So we'll be opening with the Black Bison, followed by Open Sight. Massive shout out to Ivan. Then we've got Howbird with my main man Casey, and then followed by our very good friends in Fracture Point, absolute gentlemen. Then we've got our brothers from Unearthed playing Thrasher Wolf. And then topping it off is the new heavy hitters of the new wave of British heavy metal. And these guys are absolutely amazing, and they are called Wargrave. And I'm telling you now, mate, they are one to watch out for, because the first time I ever saw these guys play live is what I would imagine someone must have felt like when they saw Iron Maiden live for the first time.
Oh, wow, that's honestly a huge compliment.
They have a massive amount of talent in that band, from every one of them, and you can just tell that each one of them has just crafted their their instrument, their skill set to the sharpest point that they possibly could, and they are coming out razor sharp, and I'm so impressed by everything they've done so far.
Man, like, any more compliments, it's gonna make me run to the hills on that one.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, dad jokes for days, it's fine. But that's on the 18th, yeah? So that's next Saturday.
Next Saturday at the Fighting Cocks. Be there or be square. Oh, and
I think
if you are going, then you might want to save a few pennies and get yourself some new Fracture Point merch.
Ooh.
They're going to be bringing that with them to the festival, and I'm telling you, it looks really cool. I'm gonna have to.
No, I have seen it. It looks absolutely incredible. And just on the point of merch, when we're talking about unsigned bands, and we're talking about these bands and supporting them, the best way to support them is to turn up to shows. It is to buy merch. Most of these guys live off sometimes that merch as well, the money earned from it. I know it's helped us out the last few gigs, and it's just amazing to see people going around wearing your shirts, and you're just there going, I think it happened. One of our guys had a story that they saw someone wearing a Worship Sacrifice shirt on the London Underground, and I'm there going, "Shut up! Are you serious?" But it is the best way to support any unsigned band.
Absolutely,
honestly,
yeah, it really is. Speaking of support, I hear that Thrasher Wolf are in need of some support to polish off their latest creations from the studio.
Oh, I did see that they were back in the studio creating their old school thrash masterpiece.
Yes, that is exactly. Oh, an old school thrash masterpiece. You heard it here.
Yeah. Well, that's how we describe them, but I think it's a good phrase.
So no pressure or anything.
Well, you know what? Sonic, we'll copyright that. They can buy it off of us. Old school thrash masterpiece.
And I have no doubt it will be. Honestly, these guys are amazing.
Another live band to watch out for, and they've got the GoFundMe page for the extra support. Recording, unfortunately, reality is it's bloody expensive, especially to get the sound that they're looking for. But these guys deserve it. They have such a great sound live, and even if they capture like a few % of that on a recording, it's going to be an absolute masterpiece.
Definitely. So yeah, if you can help the guys, go over to their GoFundMe page, give a couple of quid, give what you can, because we all need some more Thrasher Wolf in our lives.
Well, speaking of what we need in our lives, I think we've spoken a bit for a while now. So what do you say we should break it up by playing one of our songs?
Yeah, should we? Oh, you know what? What's the? Oh shit! It's already February. You know what that means?
No, go on.
We have an anniversary.
Oh, I didn't know you cared.
I always care.
It is true. It is the 1 year anniversary of our most recent single, which was "Wake Up the World," released last February.
A year ago, man.
So proud of this track, though. Like this track, for us, it was the one we released just before we started touring and doing the tour dates. And every time I hear it and see the video, like the video itself, it's a whole point. I did say that you probably get sick of us talking, but just to summarize it, the 10 months that we spent on the road, we had some ups, we had some downs, we had some hard times. We played in some absolutely amazing venues with some amazing bands, and this video pretty much captures the last 10 months of footage from those gigs, and we spliced it all together as kind of like a memory thing. And I can't watch that video without getting goosebumps or a tear welling up, man, honestly.
Oh man, yeah, it's definitely nostalgic when you think back to it. It's like, oh, look at everything we've been through, all the sacrifices we've made. It's all culminated to this point, and it just feels good to have a new release coming out, because like I said, it's been a year since Wake Up the World was released. So just...
Well, without further ado, let's play Wake Up, and then we'll have a bit of chat about it afterwards. And then, speaking of what I mentioned in the video and what was recorded, we can go on to further news after that.
Let's do it. This is Wake Up the World.
Trying to line the buckets of an healthcare. Blood is blood, and we can never share. All I know is modern warfare. Satellites beaming drones down. 5G in every city and in every town. Conquering journey, so in your face now. You know out on it's coming round. Wake up the world. Wake up the world. It's about time that we understand. Wake up the world. Wake up the world. And your life is a commodity. Setting our lives to overload. Even pedophiles get off clean. Donald Trump ran the ending can't be abstained. The faces make me fucking sad. revenge. Sowing hate like a flag at sea. Growing the crops that will down angry. There's no limit to what they will do. They won't stop until the world is consumed. Wake up the world. Wake up the world. We've been living for too long in this dreamland. It's about time that you understand. Wake up the world. Wake up the world. They think your life is a commodity, selling our lives above our grave. I roll this world. Wake up. Your eyes see through all the lies. I roll this world. Wake up. You need to wake up if we are to survive. I roll this world. Wake up. Call the head of the beast and crave our lives. I roll this world. Wake up. This is our choice. Don't let the world die.
Just the way that silence screams so loud at the end.
Sometimes it's the echoes at the loudest point of the song, isn't it? Just that empty space.
Yeah, man. And that whisper and that clean guitar, it just really gets me every time I hear it. And it's one of my favourite things live is when we do that, and it just all just fades away to silence, and even a crowd give you a couple of seconds of silence before the applause. It's magical.
Yeah, and this song is the whole reason of writing music is to do those perform in front of those crowds, and this song is especially what happened last time or the last few nights we played, hearing the crowd sing back your chorus or sing back the lyrics to the chorus. It gets me every time. I get goosebumps on stage. I don't know how to react. Like when someone's shouting lyrics back to you, I'm like, yes, amazing.
It almost brings a tear to the eye in some ways, doesn't it?
And I think this song has resonated, especially over the last few years of what's happened in this country specifically. I don't know if you want to talk about the lyrical content, because I think it really does elevate this song something chronic, and I think it does resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the lyrics, if you've watched the lyric video, you'll obviously have noticed that they're quite straight to the point, very blunt. They call out a lot of hypocrisy and they call out greed, and it's just a kind of harsh truth. It's peeling away the smoke and mirrors and just laying bare what the facts are. And I think it's just the song is a symptom of the times, if I'm honest. I've just observed what's been happening around me, and I've just put it pen to paper, and that's exactly what you've got from that. And it definitely does reside in a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have said to me, yeah, I really like the lyrics in that. And it's become very obvious, the imbalance in the world over the last few years, especially since the COVID pandemic, where the rich people seem to have got exponentially richer, and the poorer people are just getting poorer and poorer. And where is the balance, and when's the scale going to tip? But it's I think that's what I was trying to get across. It's like we need to wake up before we get buried under this.
It was also like, going through those things. So it was almost enough to cause an outrage. And speaking of people who are outraged, I think there's a new single coming out by one of our LMC comrades.
That was outrageous. That's so good. Yeah.
Did you like it?
That was good. Yeah, Outraged by Levy. Massive shout out to my boy Morton. He is an absolute legend. And his band Levy are bringing out their latest single on Friday, the 17th of Feb. And I might have been privy to an early listening.
Ooh, how's it sound?
Mate, it is fucking wicked. Morton has this really interesting style. He has married certain genres together and created something that's so cohesive and so funky and so danceable, and it really just echoes his whole charisma. And you've met Morton before, and you know what kind of charisma that guy's got.
I've met him and I've seen him on stage, and the way he commands the stage, or the way Levy commands the stage, is amazing. 2 microphones, jumping back and forth, telling stories. Everything's got a story to it, and he lets the audience interact. They both do it on stage. They basically invite the audience to be part of the performance. And I know even for a fact when we saw them live, you even got up and did drums on one of their performances.
Well, they invited me on stage, so I grabbed a stick and started hitting the crash cymbal. I hope I was in time, but
it was absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen Levy or any of the bands we saw at today live, honestly go do it. They are amazing, absolutely amazing.
And speaking of Levy, I just need to give a massive shout out to Morton, because that guy has been a massive contribution to the LMC and growing it into what it is today. And without Morton and Casey and Tom and Gus, this LMC would not have grown into the giant entity that it's going to become, because these guys have so much passion and so much invested in the scene that it's really beautiful to see everyone just willing to get involved and just grow this into something that it deserves to be, So shout out to everyone in the LMC. Thank you so much for all your passion and all your hard work. And let's just remember that mantra that a rising tide raises all ships. Let's work together to bring each other up into the forefront of the underground and become a force to be reckoned with.
That is beautiful. And speaking of growing entities, last bit of update on news or ourselves is our boys Imperium, who are, we love those guys so much, platonically, of course.
Yes,
spiritually, sonically, we have tried to look. They don't have OnlyFans, but they are back into the studio.
OnlyFans, there definitely would be a growing entity.
No, that was off script. On that note,
curveball.
Yeah. On that note, they are back in the studio. I know they've recently released their EP, which is absolutely amazing, and they're back in again to give us more treats and more of their musical talent. I love these guys, I really do.
They are the best dudes, and honestly, no matter how big they grow and how much success they get, they're never gonna change. I can tell they're gonna be the same guys they've always been, and they are just such an integral part of the London scene. Everyone loves them. I love them. They're just such stand-up dudes, and I've listened to their EP so much. I've got a CD in my car, and now those 4 tracks are on repeat. It doesn't matter how long the journey is. They sound so amazing. Oh, I can't wait for their next EP album, whatever it is they're bringing out. I'm there. I'm such a big fan of Imperium, in fact. I stalked them, didn't I? I went to Bournemouth to see them play. I didn't even tell them I was coming or anything.
Apparently you just sat in the corner like a creep, just staring at them across the bar.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to just recognise me.
Nice. I mean, I've had worse Tinder dates, to be fair. So.
Oh,
No, I mean we did play recently for Sequium's EP launch, and just a shout out to Sequium as well, because we've not done it just yet. One, thanks for inviting us to be part of that show and your EP launch. Two, we absolutely adore you guys. We think you're the nicest guys ever, and I think that night for us is one of my favourite nights musically, just for the crowd reaction, your guys' reactions, and just the level of talent that played was absolutely incredible.
oh, their set was incredible. Like, everyone was vibing. It was such a good night. Oh, it was incredible, honestly. And
Yep.
giving everyone a 45-minute set just made that a really special occasion. It's a memory that's going to stay with me for a long time, that's for sure.
It was our first 45-minute set as well, and I think for an experience for us being on stage, it kind of solidified that we want to do this for the rest of our lives, and that was for us thinking, we could actually do this. We went to stay on for an hour, like an hour and a half, but people probably get sick of us playing the same note after. But that goes back to our point of Imperium as well. Like, this is how the London scene, how we all stick together and solidify. Imperium were meant to play that gig, but had to put out last minute, and Halberd graciously stepped in. The boys still came down. They, sort of set with us. They hugged us afterwards. It's just having support from such amazing people in the scene. It means everything. It really does.
Yeah, honestly, thank you so much, guys. It means the world to us.
Really do. And so that brings me on to my final segue. Let's see if I can do it. So, speaking of what people mean to us and the sacrifices we make, do you like it? Do you like it? We do have a new release coming out on Valentine's Day. I think that was some kind of horn, but I'm good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a horn. Shit.
Which is fine. I mean, for me, the highlights of this so far, because we have done a lot of marketing and campaigning. I mentioned it earlier about last year, but just having to stand or being able to stand on Camden Market giving out flyers which read, "Will you be my sacrifice?" which is a marketing genius, by the way, Lazarus. Honestly, absolute genius. Was one of the highlights of the year so far for me.
Just handing out little love letters to everyone, and I never got to see their face when they read it, though. I realised
Pretty ran away.
Yeah. I remember giving one to some guy, and he goes, "What is this? Some Jesus shit?"
Yeah.
And I went, "No, man, it's death metal." And he went, "Oh, sorry." But I'll definitely
Amazing.
check you out. It was beautiful, man.
Amazing.
That was quite a fulfilling moment, actually. Going back to the old school kind of ways of handing out flyers to people, going face to face and answering questions and introducing yourself and the band and all that. And I think that's actually quite a valuable thing that not a lot of bands are probably doing at the moment. And I think that it should definitely return to that kind of vibe, because it was quite successful for us, I think.
Well, we'll see as well when the single gets released. I think it was a valuable experience being out there and having that exposing yourself to new audiences, and it's always scary, but I think it's absolutely great.
Yeah, man.
I think more bands should do it.
My favourite part was seeing Deb's handing them out, saying, "Give it to someone you love."
Shout out to the Detoxin boys. Who gave out half of them for us as well.
Yeah, in the space of 5 minutes.
Yeah, like doing
Cars,
magic trips.
Cars were just driving past and stopping, and he was giving it to them. It was beautiful, man. Oh.
So the single is going to be released on Valentine's Day. I think the video for it means a lot to us. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but everything we did last year and everything that we've achieved, the friends we made, the venues we played at, this video kind of captures as much of that as we possibly could, and it is quite emotional for me. I don't know how you feel, Lazarus.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got that strong nostalgic vibe to it. It definitely puts a little croak in the throat, and yeah, it's a pleasure to watch, actually, as much as it sort of it hurts quite nicely.
Well,
it's like with any kind of memorial thing, you know, it's like it's something that's happened. You can't change it. It's already gone, and it will never come back. It'll always be a memory. And I think that in itself is it's quite poetic and beautiful, and it definitely fits the sacrifice theme.
So, without further ado, do you want to introduce this?
This is our latest single, out on Valentine's Day on all platforms, and I do have one question for everyone. Will you be my sacrifice? Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We have been Worship the Sacrifice. My name is Lazarus.
Mine has been Steve.
And remember, worship the meta!